The movie begins with Mark wakes up when he hears his neighbor Enid calling him, saying something is happening. He doesn't pay much attention and gets out of bed. When he tries to open the window, it won't open at all. In the building across, he notices a guy who is banging on the glass of his house, but he doesn't give much importance to it. When he goes to get ready for work, he begins to notice that things are not normal. The faucet doesn't release water, the power was cut off, and his phone doesn't get any signal. Even with all this happening, he takes a deep breath and tries to do things the usual way. He looks at the time and sees that it's already past time, then receives a call from his ex-wife wanting to know where he is. She is very irritated that Mark is late for a very important court here, nervous about missing the chance to defend himself in court over child custody issues. He walks to the entrance of the house, but discovers that it won't open at all. He tries to figure out why he can't open it and sees that it's stuck. While he tries to explain the situation to his ex-wife, suddenly the signal goes out. Without success in getting out, he looks out the window again, and when he looks at the building next door, he sees other desperate people waving their arms and asking for help. People wearing special clothes to protect themselves from dangerous products walk around the place, not caring about the residents who are afraid. Mark calls for his neighbor. Enid is also desperate. She tries to talk to Mark through the wall, telling him that she's also trapped. Suddenly, Mark hears a strange sound coming from Enid's apartment, and she stops talking. Mark grabs a heavy tool, really wanting to get out of there, but instead of managing to escape, he ends up getting hurt. Suddenly, a loudspeaker starts transmitting a repetitive official message. Please remain calm. The situation is under control. While treating the wound, a very loud sound happens and a piece of the wall breaks. Through there appears Sergei, an agitated young man, and his younger brother, Niku, who doesn't talk much and seems to have some kind of disability or trauma. Through the hole in the wall, Mark manages to reach where Niku and Sergei live and tries to open their door, but obviously it doesn't work. After that, two more residents appear. Sally, who works as a nurse, and Aiden, who is a public servant. The two say exactly the same thing as the others. The entire floor became completely separated from the rest of the world. It must be just a safety measure. Aiden, who is clearly afraid, is sure that something serious is happening. Something that the government isn't telling anyone. They do everything to try to talk to the people outside, but no one responds. Then comes another announcement over the loudspeaker, guaranteeing that medical teams are taking care of the problem. Everything is under control. Sally takes care of the wound on Mark's hand, stitching the cut while the rest of the people try to understand what's happening. In the middle of all this silence, Mark remembers Enid, his older neighbor. He asks Sergei to break the wall until they reach her apartment. When they get there, they find her unconscious on the floor. They manage to lift her up and take care of her. Later, everyone looks out the window while the workers downstairs set up hospital tents. They also manage to see sick people being carried into these tents. Another announcement over the loudspeaker talks about a gas leak, telling everyone to stay inside their homes. But the group doesn't believe it. Aiden, especially, is sure they're lying to them. This makes everyone even more nervous. Why would they need a medical team if it was just a gas leak? This doesn't make any sense. They become even more suspicious when they see workers in protective clothing throwing chemicals and dragging more sick residents to the tents. Suddenly, a man tries to escape running and is shot by someone who fired at him. Fear takes over everyone. All the people there notice that they can no longer leave the place. Soon after, groups wearing special clothes against toxic products begin to enter the apartments by force. Sergei observes this movement from his window. People who try to resist are taken using violence. Fear takes over Mark and the others. They understand that time is running out. With desperate desire to escape, they gather and think about what they can do. It's at this moment that Mark remembers that in his apartment, he keeps chemical substances that might be strong enough to dissolve the material that sealed the door. Unable to waste time, the group gets these products. Mark combines them into a potent mixture and carefully pours it on the bottom part of the main door. To everyone's relief, the sealing material begins to soften. Joining forces, they manage to push and open the door. They quickly begin to organize how they're going to get out of there because they can't simply exit through the front door if they want to live. Just when the group starts to create a plan, Enid suddenly becomes desperate. Niku has completely disappeared. Distressed, they stop talking about how to escape and focus on finding the boy. At this time, Niku, scared and alone, crawls through a ventilation tube and ends up on another floor. Hidden in the darkness, he witnesses something terrible. An elderly lady is being persuaded by staff in protective clothing to cooperate. One of them puts a syringe in her. A few moments later, she collapses, coughing violently. Back on the upper floor, Sergei finally locates Niku and tries to pull him using a rope he improvised. But just when Niku tries to reach the rope, the staff spot him and drag him away. Mark and Sergei, who grabs a baseball bat, run down the stairs together. What comes next is total chaos. In the heat of the moment, Sergei strikes one of the protective-suited staff members, causing his death. When he was about to kill the remaining female staff member, Mark doesn't let him and says she might give answers about what's happening. Sergei takes the woman to the apartment where they are. Sally, Enid and Aiden. The men go through the woman's things and find a smoke spray. Mark tries to interrogate the woman in protective clothing calmly. Sergei, however, immature, loses control. He pulls her in front of the window with a paper taped to her chest, saying, "I got one," for all the others in the building across to see. Soon after, the woman's radio makes noise. The man on the other side warns that things have gotten out of control. Mark insists on more information, but the man realizes it wasn't his work partner who was responding. He says he's there to help and asks to speak with his partner to make sure she's okay. When Mark was about to hand the radio to the woman, Sergei takes it and said, "If they want her, they'll have to come get her." After that, Mark tries to calm Sergei and tries to talk to the woman gently, hoping to get answers. Her name is Hazel. When he tries to remove her protective clothing, Hazel reacts with great fear, confirming his worst fear. Hazel isn't defending herself from what exists out there. She's defending herself from them. Finally, being pressured, Hazel tells the truth. She tells them that the region was attacked by a lethal virus that spreads through the air. The government, according to her, cut off all communication to avoid widespread panic. They are hiding the reality, not just about the virus, but about everything. To separate contaminated places, run tests, and not tell anyone anything. She says there's a possibility that none of them have the disease, but this means there's an equal chance that they might also be. When questioned about the virus, she tells them it causes severe coughing, breathing problems, and even vision loss. But in the end, the important organs of the body will stop working. Researchers are trying to discover a cure or protection, but they haven't achieved anything yet. Sergei, already out of patience, gets agitated. Very angrily, he forcefully removes Hazel's protective equipment. Hazel tries to grab a syringe, but Sergei manages to get it first. Everyone falls silent and scared when Mark removes the protection from her face. Hazel, now defenseless, tells the truth. The vaccine is still being tested and might not even work. She asks the group to stay home until those responsible control everything, because simple contact with an infected person outside is certain death. Later, when it was already night, everyone gathered to talk about what to do. Hazel tries to escape. Sergei, full of fear and distrust, knocks her down and starts beating her violently. Mark jumps to stop the fight, but Sergei pushes him angrily. In the middle of all this confusion, Sergei ends up accidentally hitting Niku. Niku starts crying and everyone is very shaken. Soon after, the group sees people coming toward their building. A bunch of people are gathering, angry and wanting explanations. They're going there because they know there's one of the people in chemical protective clothing, so they're moving at the location. Hazel, very scared, asks the others not to let these people in, fearing they might have the virus. At this moment, the intercom makes noise. A man's voice speaks through the device, telling Mark that they need to know where the vaccines are. They killed the entire team, and Hazel is the only one left from her group. She's the only one who remained alive. The group runs to lock the door, when people start banging on the door. The group hurries to hold it and not let it open. In all the chaos, Sally gets badly hurt by flying glass. Sergei throws a smoke bomb to make the crowd go away and takes Sally back inside the apartment, but the wound is very serious. Hazel does everything she can to save her, but it's already too late. Sally dies because she lost too much blood. Aiden, heartbroken, goes away quietly to another room. Later they cover Sally's body with fabric, but Aiden had disappeared. The others didn't know he had taken it. Aiden has taken Hazel's clothes and left secretly, wanting to escape. When people see him, they think he's a doctor and surround him, asking for the cure. Everyone enters desperation. A shooter from afar fires a shot into the air, making the crowd scatter. Aiden is left alone. A few seconds later, he is killed by gunshots. Inside, Sergei sees more people running toward them. He tells the group to leave quickly, but Mark doesn't want to, saying he won't leave Hazel behind. He tries to untie her restraints. Sergei, not wanting Hazel to come along, very irritated, hits Mark with a bat, making him fall to the ground. In the background, he hears Hazel screaming, desperately saying she doesn't have the vaccine. Then Mark faints. When Mark wakes up, he doesn't see Hazel. He runs to find Niku and the others. At the window, something very scary appears in front of him. 2 workers in chemical protective clothing are preparing to release gas near the building. Mark finds the group, and immediately runs to find Hazel. He immediately goes after Sergei, completely irritated because of what had happened before. Mark almost kills Sergei by strangling him, but Enid manages to stop him and make him calm down. But this calm lasted a short time. The poisonous gas begins to take over the entire building. Everyone runs to the upper floors, trying to reach the roof to be safe. During the run, Mark ends up tripping over Hazel's body, who had already died. While everyone is running, Sergei ends up being caught by the crowd that was outside. Enid tries to break free, but there are many people against him alone. He asks Mark for help, but in the same way that Sergei left him behind, he did the same. Up on the roof, the 3 who remained finally manage to breathe pure air. Mark and Enid stay close together, smoking cigarettes. The next morning, Mark wakes up and awakens Niku. Niku goes to try to wake Enid, but discovers that she had died while sleeping. Mark, who already knew what had happened, tells Niku to let her sleep a little more, that she would find them later. Now only with Niku by his side, Mark looks at the entire destroyed city. He decides it's time to leave the building together with Niku. Wanting to protect the boy, Mark tells Niku to close his eyes and pretend they're playing a game. He then puts Niku on his back and enters the destroyed city, passing through stairs full of dead bodies. In the end, they manage to leave the building. But what was waiting for them outside wasn't. It was completely empty. Even the quarantine places were in total silence. From above, a loudspeaker releases a frightening warning. Any person found on the street without permission will be arrested. Any person found on the street without permission will be considered a contamination risk. Knowing that time was running out, Mark puts on special clothes against chemical products and leaves. Still carrying Niku, he believes the disguise will keep them both protected, but this hope doesn't last long. A guy from a building next door sees them, thinking Mark was a government employee. The man runs to them and pulls Niku away from him. He starts talking about the family he lost, very angrily. Then he grabs a piece of broken glass. Mark tries to explain that he's not with the doctors. He's not their enemy. But the guy doesn't believe him because of the clothes he's wearing. In the fight that happens, Niku manages to escape, but Mark gets stabbed. Losing blood and weak, he staggers out with Niku's help. He's taken to the hospital. They finally reach an abandoned park. Mark, now pale and rapidly losing strength, sits on a swing. He gives Niku his cell phone and his ex-wife's number, and tells him to call that number as soon as he gets a signal. He then tells him to go away. Niku doesn't want to leave Mark alone, but Mark encourages him to move forward. Niku continues walking. From afar, he sees people wearing special clothes against chemicals. While he's standing there, other people from behind manage to catch him. A few people have been found. A few moments later, Niku wakes up in a clean and very bright room, with other children around him. People in protective clothing are walking around. One of them crouches down, speaking in a calm voice, promising that everything will be okay. Niku then takes out a photo of Mark with his family. He then grips the phone that Mark had given him. The last scene shows a radio transmission expanding the containment area and asking for more support. It becomes clear that the situation is far beyond the authorities' control, and that the quarantine is spreading to much larger. Thank you for reaching this part of the video. If you like it, please subscribe and hit notification bell. Until next time, see ya.